every winter, there's usually some bickering about where the coldest place in the lower 48 states is. International Falls, Minnesota has long billed itself as the icebox of the nation, but a few other cities in Minnesota have also laid claim, as well as Fraser, Colorado, Stanley, Idaho, and West Yellowstone, Montana. But when it comes to the hottest place in the U.S., there is no doubt. Death Valley, California, has no equal. Now, the valley itself is between 6 and 13 miles wide and about 130 miles long. It was named by a group of lost miners in 1849 who were looking for a shortcut to the California gold fields and got stuck in the valley for weeks. Now, Death Valley is in extreme eastern California, near the Nevada border, about 200 miles northeast of Los Angeles and 100 miles west of Las Vegas. About 500 square miles of the valley are below sea level, shaded gray right here. The first consistent weather observations taken there were at the aptly named Furnace Creek in 1891. That's where observations are still taken today. The lowest elevation in the U.S. is nearby at Badwater, 282 feet below sea level. Now, to demonstrate just how dominant Death Valley is when it comes to being the nation's hotspot, I looked back at June, July, and August from the last 5 years to see where the U.S. daily high temperature was observed each day. And here are the 5 most common places. All except Death Valley are in a triangle bounded by San Diego, Las Vegas, and Phoenix. Now, out of 460 total days, Death Valley was hottest or tied for hottest on 401 of those days. That's about 87% of the time. Nowhere else was even close. It's interesting that over the last 5 years, the nation's daily high temperature on summer days has occurred in 11 different states at 53 different places. 3 cities in Washington actually tied Death Valley on a day in July of 2015, while on an August day in 2013, 2 cities in South Dakota and 2 in Nebraska tied for the nation's high. Other places that have recorded the daily high during the last 5 summers include Topeka, Kansas, El Paso, Texas, and Roswell, New Mexico, but all pale in frequency compared to Death Valley. Last month will go into the record books for Death Valley, and not just because of July 7th, when the high was 127, or July 8th when the overnight low was 103, but rather for sustaining the extreme heat for the entire month. The average temperature in Death Valley last month of 107.24 degrees was the highest reliably measured average monthly temperature to date in the world, according to weather historian Christopher Burt. The previous record holder was August 2014 at King Khalid Military City Airport in Saudi Arabia. But that temperature was recently discovered to be erroneous because of a faulty averaging technique. Legend has it that a visitor to Death Valley once said to a park ranger, "It's not so hot here. Where we live, we can put a frying pan out in the sun and cook an egg." To which the park ranger replied, "We can do the same thing here, only we do it in the shade." Stay tuned. Our extended forecast is next.